In the twilight days of the Age of Crowns, a shadow began to spread across the eastern reaches of the realm. Forests blackened, rivers boiled, and the skies above Mount Verum turned an ominous red. Whispers spoke of a long-dead warlock returned to life, and at the heart of it all, a relic once thought lost to time, the Ember Shard. Forged during the First Flame War, the Ember Shard held the power to awaken the Fire Titan, a being of ancient destruction. If brought back, it would reduce the world to ash. Fearing the worst, Queen Valeth of Elderune summoned the only three beings capable, or mad enough, to stop it. The heroes assembled. Thalion, an elf ranger from the Emerald Vale, arrived first. Tall and silent, his eyes mirrored the forest canopy, sharp and unreadable. Known for his precision and uncanny senses, Thalion distrusted most, especially dwarves. Brogan, a dwarf warrior from the Stoneholm Caverns, came next. Broad and brash, with a beard braided in runes of his forefathers, he spoke loudly and swung his axe louder. He'd fought trolls, ogres, and bureaucracy. He feared no elf. Eldros, the last to arrive, glided into the throne room in robes of deep blue, his staff topped with a flickering crystal. The wizard was ageless, or perhaps just very good at pretending. He rarely explained anything, preferring riddles and quiet amusement. Queen Valeth explained the dire stakes. "The warlock Malgrath has found the Ember Shard," she said. "If he reaches the Titan's tomb beneath Mount Verum, he will end this world. You must stop him." The trio exchanged tense glances. It would be a long road. Through peril and flame. Their journey began through the marshes of Mirkmoor, where will-o'-the-wisps led travelers into drowning bogs. Thalion guided them safely with his night vision and sharp hearing, though not without stepping in mud up to his knees, a fact Brogan found endlessly amusing. In the ruined village of Kelmore's Hollow, they found survivors turned into twisted husks by ember corruption. One charged Eldros in a burning frenzy, but the wizard calmly raised his staff, whispered a spell, and encased the creature in frost. "Fire meets its match," he said simply. As they climbed the Ash Spire cliffs, a sudden landslide separated them. Thalion leapt effortlessly across the rocks. Brogan, unable to jump, trusted Eldros, who conjured a wind bridge. "Just don't sneeze mid-crossing," the dwarf muttered. Along the way, they slowly grew to respect one another. Thalion admired Brogan's courage and stubborn heart. Brogan began to trust the elf's instincts, and both were quietly grateful for Eldros, who always seemed to know when to speak and when to act. The Titan's tomb. After a fortnight, they reached Mount Verum, a black peak seething with smoke and flame. Beneath its roots lay the Titan's tomb, sealed by ancient dwarven and elven magic, but the door was already broken. Inside, they descended into chambers lit by lava and etched with warnings. "Wake not the one who sleeps in fire." The air trembled with heat. At the deepest hall, they found him, Malgrath, a withered figure cloaked in emberlight, standing before the awakening Titan. The Ember Shard floated above his hands, glowing bright as a second sun. "You are too late," he hissed. "The Titan rises." "Not while we breathe," Thalion answered, loosing an arrow. It struck Malgrath's shoulder, but the warlock only laughed, throwing flames with a flick of his wrist. Brogan charged, deflecting fire with his shield. Eldros raised both hands and spoke in the old tongue, summoning a dome of blue flame to counter the red. But the Titan stirred. Stone cracked. A massive hand began to rise from the molten core. Thalion looked to the shard, not the warlock. "The crystal's the key." Brogan hurled his axe, not at Malgrath, but at the ceiling above the Ember Shard. Rocks collapsed, knocking the shard from the warlock's grasp. It tumbled into the lava, but Eldros caught it mid-air with a spell of freezing wind. "I've got it!" the wizard cried. Malgrath lunged. Eldros spun and struck the warlock with his staff, channeling the frozen energy of the Ember shard through it. A blinding flash, a deafening scream. When the light cleared, Malgrath was gone. The Ember shard, cracked and dim, lay smoking in Eldros's hand. The Titan's hand froze mid-rise and slowly sank back into the molten deep. The mountain began to collapse. The return. They escaped through a forgotten tunnel, coughing and bruised, but alive. At the summit, they watched the volcano cool, its fury silenced. Back in Eldaroon, the queen honored them with silver leaves and stone medallions. Songs were sung. Taverns told the tale a dozen ways, each more exaggerated than the last. But the heroes? They met once more at the edge of the whispering forest. "We made a good team," Thalion admitted. "Aye," Brogan grunted. "Even if you're a twig." Eldros chuckled. "The world still turns. That's what matters." Thalion turned to the wizard. "What will you do with the Ember shard?" Eldros smiled and tucked it deep into his cloak. "Hide it where even I can't find it." They laughed, then parted ways, knowing the world was safe, for now.